All right, I'm here with Steve Lennon, one of the guys who was giving the presentation for the trail project tonight. And so I asked him if he would mind sitting and answering a few questions. So Steve, thank you very much for coming out tonight and giving the presentation. We appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out, showing interest.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a landscape architect and professional planner with Taylor Design Group. We do a lot of municipal park and county park work and planning, review of plans, those sorts of things.
Okay. How did you end up, so you don't work for the county, but you kind of work with the county.
No, yeah, we are a consultant hired by the county to help them develop their parks. Taylor Design Group has probably been working with the county for probably about 8 years. I've been with Taylor Design Group for 6 years. And it's been really a great experience. I always say to Matt Johnson, who is my point of contact, county is a great level of government to kind of get things done. Municipalities are looking at their, piece of the pie, and they got a sort of a small thing to deal with. The state is in some ways maybe too big, but the county is like that right size to sort of make some of these kinds of things happen, like a trail project. Getting one municipality to talk to another to make this happen would just never happen. But the county is at that right level where it can reach up to the state and reach down to the townships to make these kind of trail projects happen.
Nice. What do you think is the most interesting or exciting part of your job?
I enjoy designing. I get a blank piece of paper and you get to sort of make something out of your imagination. It's also really great to get out and work with the sites that are given to us. It's amazing how some of these sites in the county, you wouldn't realize just a few hundred feet from Route 130, you would think with all that traffic, you could be actually in a pretty peaceful place and see an area that may have been disturbed as some sort of industrial use or something in a previous life is now reverting back to nature, and nature wants to do its thing. And it's nice that the county's kind of preserving these parcels and sort of nudging it along and providing access into really populated areas that are now seem sort of natural oasis within it.
Yeah. I know from my experience, I've been in Delran and I moved here in 2008, so I've been here 11 years, and at some point I heard of Amico Island, but I'd never been there. And then I think it was last year was the first time I was been there. I was surprised. Like, I did not expect to have something like that. Basically you're at like the corner of, the road there by the sewer plant, and then you just duck back here and there's a parking lot, and you walk a little bit farther and you're basically practically on this little island. All kinds of wildlife, some great trails. There's a couple of spots where you can see views of the Philadelphia skyline. I was impressed.
Yeah, and that's, again, like one of those sort of former industrial sites where it was a sand and gravel operation, but, for whatever reason is no longer functioning, and it's reverting back to nature, and it wants to do its thing. And like I said, the county's kind of had the forethought to see the value in that and acquire it. And it's a great space, and you're like, wait a second, where am I? It really, in a few hundred feet, you can really change your perception of where you're at.
That actually kind of makes me think is like, we are so used to a fast-paced life. You're driving everywhere in your automobile, and just walking the same area that you would normally drive through is a completely different experience because you have the time to actually look at things.
Yeah, it is a very different experience, and that's sort of one of the benefits of the trails is it sort of gives you a respite from dealing with traffic and allow people to get on a bike or walk and have a sort of a level of comfort that you can look around and you're not overly concerned with, conflicts with vehicles and things of that nature. So it is nice. And getting back to your point about, hey, I didn't even know Amico Island. The park system is pretty young, in terms of its genesis and coming out of sort of from nowhere. But as the county's been developing this, and you start to make these connections, I think there's going to become a greater awareness of the trails and the Rancocas Creek. Rancocas Creek is something people pass over. You really don't necessarily get to maybe see it that much, but with this trail, Rancocas Creek Greenway, hoping it's going to provide more visual access and physical access to the creek.
I was a couple of years ago. They were doing near Chester Avenue 130. They were doing a wildflower garden. So I came over to see that. So I parked in the shopping center, like where the Target is, and I'm walking over, and Swedes Run runs underneath 130 right there, and I never even thought about it. And as I'm walking across the little bridge thing there, I look over to the side, and there's this beautiful view of a creek. It's actually one of my cover photos on my Facebook page. I was like, it was impressive. I was like, and again, that's one of those things that you just don't see when you're going through your normal stuff. And so just stopping and taking and doing some walking, you can find all kinds of fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing when you get out of your car what becomes apparent.
Yeah.
And just the feel of things, even, and you get an appreciation. Okay, just trying to cross a street, that may not necessarily been designed for pedestrians in mind, and you're like, wow, this does not feel good.
Yeah.
But if you can get off of that and onto a trail, it's a much different experience.
Yeah, the road thing. I was actually doing a run for town council a couple of years ago, and I was doing campaigning, and part of what I was doing was on Creek Road, and I've driven on that plenty of times. Completely different experience being on foot. It's
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yes. Yeah, there's traffic moves along there.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
All right, so the last question I have for you is, what would you like to tell the residents of Delran?
Get out and experience the parks. Get out and experience the trails. It's infrastructure that the county is providing, and just like they do roads and bridges and all those sort of things that we really need. I think you really need the parks as well, and for your own sanity, maybe unplug a little bit and get out and enjoy them.
Yeah. All right, Steve, thank you very much. I appreciate you both coming out tonight, and especially for agreeing to sit down for the interview.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's great when people are